with Love & Soap Studio. Hi, I'm Amanda with Love & Soap Studio. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this fun, girly boutique soap design. So this soap design features two layers. The first layer is a slanted kind of pinkish purple solid layer. The second layer is a black and white kind of tiger stripe design or a spoon swirl design. And then on top, we actually did a glitter and oil swirl. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's get started. So we are going to mix the soap to a thin trace, and then we're going to divide it out. And then we're going to thicken up our first layer, pour it, and then we're going to swirl the second layer. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So as far as my temperatures, I like to soap between 80 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That keeps things nice and slow so that we have time to do this design. Okay, so the bulk of this is going to be our pink base, but we do want a little bit for the black and white swirls, so I'm going to pour that off. Okay, I think that's probably good. Okay. All right, we're going to put those to the side and we're going to work on our pink base. So this, I want to color kind of a pinkish purpley, add a little black to it to darken it. So let's start with 1 teaspoon of Voodoo mica from Mad Oils. That might seem like a lot, but I do want it super concentrated. And then we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of this Queen's Purple and then a 1/4 teaspoon of charcoal to darken it. All right, so we'll see what this looks like. So I don't usually pre-mix my micas, although you certainly can. Okay. So just simply put your stick blender over it, push it down. So that's an awesome color. That is exactly what I was going for. So that looks great. So now we're going to thicken this up a little bit. Right now it's just at a very light trace, but we want to thicken it up so that it holds the swirled layer without it like falling into it. All right, so that's a nice kind of medium trace. It's not too thick, but it's gonna be able to set up by the time I think we're ready to pour our next layer. All right. Now I want this layer to be on a slant. And so to do that, I'm just gonna take this lid and put it under one side of the mold and pour in our soap. Okay, and I'm going to scrape this so I can get every little last bit out. All right. And then you can just kind of smooth it down a little bit. And then that is it for that layer. So don't touch that, let it sit. And if you just let it sit, it'll thicken up a bit so that we'll be able to pour our next layer. Now we are going to need to let this sit for maybe 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit, and then I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Now I don't want these to get too thick, so I'll just kind of stir them every now and then, and that's going to help keep them nice and loose. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so it has been about 10 minutes, and I just went and checked my email, but I kept an eye on these and I stirred them every now and then. That helps to kind of keep them loose. But our base is definitely thick enough. You can just kind of tell by hitting it. It doesn't jiggle around or anything. So it's going to support the next layer. And I went ahead and transferred one of these into a pour spout so that they're both in pour spouts. It just makes it a little easier to pour. So I'm going to color these black and white. So we're going to do about half a teaspoon of charcoal and then 1 teaspoon of snow white mica. So I want that really white. And to mix these in, I'm just going to use this little frother here. You can also use your stick blender, but you don't want to thicken them too much because you want them to stay nice and loose in your swirl. All right, I think that looks good. You can add more white if you want to, or you could just leave it like that. And then this black, I want really black and saturated. So if you're working with charcoal and you mix your soap and you're getting gray, it's not gonna usually blacken up. Sometimes it will, if it goes through gel phase, but you really want to color it until it looks black. So I'm actually gonna add a little more of this charcoal. I'd say half a teaspoon more. So that'll give us a teaspoon total. All right, that looks good. That is nice and saturated. Okay, so just make sure they're mixed up really good. All right, and then we are just going to simply pour kind of a tiger stripe design down the mold until we use up the black and white. So we're going to rotate through them and we'll see what we end up with. And with these pour spouts, I like touching it to the actual side of the mold while I'm pouring. It kind of helps guide you. So you can pour a little or you can pour a lot. Totally depends on how thick you want your stripes. Okay, so let's get all of our soap out and in the mold. Okay, so we've got all of our soap in the mold. And so now I want to do, I'm sure you've seen a mica oil swirl, but I wanted to do a glitter oil swirl. I haven't really tried that before. So I have some of Brambleberry's Fine Silver Rainbow Echo Glitter that I mixed with castor oil. So castor oil is cool. I love doing mica swirls with castor oil because it sinks down into the soap, which creates kind of a cool effect. And so I wanted to try that with the glitter and just see what happens. So we're going to give it a try. And so I just mixed some castor oil with the glitter, and I'm just going to maybe do like 2 lines in it, and then we can kind of swirl through it just on the very top. So well, I said 2 lines, maybe 3 or 4 lines, however many you want to do. All right. And then I'm going to take the tip of a spoon and just swirl through that. And I'm just putting it on the very top, so I'm not going to sink it down or anything like that. Just keep it at the very top so that it swirls it. And then we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. Okay, so don't overdo it. Just a little swirl. Now this tall and skinny mold does bow a little bit, so I'm going to put 2 heavy jars on either side, and that way it'll push it together a little bit. So no big deal. They do tend to bow a little bit. So we're gonna let this sit for 24 hours and then we'll come back and we'll unmold it and we'll cut it. Oh, also, I'm gonna let this sit until it kind of appears dull in appearance. Like right now it's shiny because it's freshly poured. But once it turns dull, I'm gonna spray with some alcohol and that'll help keep the ash off. If you were to spray alcohol right now to keep the ash off, it would actually pick up the glitter and kind of push it all around, and so it'd create kind of a muddy mess. So wait until your soap kind of sets up and turns dull, and then spray it with your alcohol, and that'll help combat the ash. Okay, so we'll be back in 24 hours to cut this and see what it looks like. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. For more soap making tutorials, articles, design techniques, and recipes, please visit our website at lovinsoap.com, LOVIN soap.com. We'd also love you to join our Facebook group, Saponification Nation, where soap makers from all over the world come together to talk soap, share their projects, their beautiful photos, and what they're working on. So just go to Facebook, search groups for Saponification Nation, and we should pop up.